Whenever you watch a war movie, the camera's always focused right on the front lines. It's all tactics, all action. But I realized we never really ask, where did that ammo even come from?
Right.
Who fixed that truck? How do they get food to a unit in the middle of a desert?
It's the classic tooth-to-tail ratio. Everyone, looks at the combat arms, but the tail is what wags the dog.
So that's what we're digging into today.
Exactly. We're looking at Logistics Combat Element 107. It's a foundational document that basically argues without that tail, the tooth rots. Immediately.
The document defines the mission of the Marine Logistics Group, the MLG.
Yeah.
And it used a phrase I wanted to get into. Sustained combat logistics. That word sustained, it feels very specific.
It's the critical variable. I mean, an infantry unit can carry enough supplies to fight for maybe 48 hours on their own.
And after that?
They're combat ineffective. Unless the MLG steps in. And they aren't just delivering boxes. They handle 6 distinct functional areas.
Yeah, I was looking at that list. You have the obvious ones like supply, maintenance, and transportation.
The basics, right.
But then it gets into stuff I didn't expect, like health services and general engineering.
General engineering is huge. We aren't just talking about fixing engines. We're talking about building bridges, paving roads.
So actual construction.
In constructing forward bases, yeah. And then under services, that's the catch-all for everything from legal advice to, postal services.
It's a mobile city government that follows an army.
That's a perfect way to put it.
So how do they decide how much to bring? The document breaks it down into this hierarchy. It almost looks like Russian nesting dolls.
It is. And it's all based on days of sustainment. So at the top, you have the Marine Expeditionary Force, the MEF, the big one.
The main warfighting group.
Right. The MLG has to support them for 60 full days.
60 days, that's 2 months of total independence.
2 months. No outside supply chains needed.
Okay, so that's the big doll.
Uh-huh.
But then you scale down to the brigade level, the MEB. That support drops to 30 days.
Correct. And then for the smallest expeditionary unit, the MEU.
It's just 15 days of supplies.
15. So the smaller the unit, the tighter the clock. 60, 30, 15.
And to keep that clock running, you need to move heavy things over some really awful terrain. And this is where the engineering side of this gets really interesting.
Especially the medium fleet, the MTVR.
The 7-ton. I was looking at the specs on this thing. It says it can climb a 60% gradient. Now, that sounds steep, but how steep is that?
Put it this way. A standard staircase is roughly a 64% gradient.
Wow.
So this truck, fully loaded with 7 tons of gear, can basically climb stairs.
And it has an independent suspension and that central tire inflation system, right?
Yeah, so the driver can drop tire pressure from inside the cab to grip sand or mud on the fly.
That is seriously impressive. But the weirdest vehicle in the file has to be the LVS.
Oh, yeah. The logistics vehicle system.
It literally looks like it's broken in the middle.
It's designed that way. It's an 8x8 system with an articulated joint.
Okay, so what does that actually do?
It lets the front power unit and the rear body unit twist independently of each other.
So it moves like a centipede or something?
In a way, yes. If you hit a massive ditch, a normal rigid frame would either snap or get high-centered, stuck.
Right.
The LVS just twists through it. It's really the only way you can move heavy equipment like tanks off-road without breaking the vehicle carrying them.
Okay, but here's the logistical puzzle that really got me. You have these massive trucks, millions of rounds of ammo.
Yeah.
You can't just check that as luggage on a flight.
No, you can't.
So how do they get all of this to a crisis zone fast enough?
That is the strategic magic trick of the LCE. It's called the Maritime Prepositioning Force.
Prepositioning, so they pack ahead of time.
Way ahead of time. The Marine Corps keeps whole squadrons of ships, basically floating warehouses, parked in strategic oceans around the world.
Already loaded with that war reserve material.
Exactly. When the call comes in, the ships start steaming toward the conflict, and the Marines, the fly-in echelon, they just hop on planes.
They fly to meet their gear.
They fly to meet the ships, but you can't just, drive a truck off a boat that's been sitting at sea for months.
I was wondering about that. You'd expect it not to start.
You'd be right. Which is why there's the OPP, the Offload Preparation Party.
Okay, what's their job?
This is a specialized team that flies out and gets on the ships while they are still at sea. Their whole job is to wake the equipment up.
So they're the mechanics making the jump early.
They check the batteries, the fluids, the tires. They make sure that the moment the ramp hits the pier, that 7-ton truck drives right off under its own power.
And that leads to the link-up. The troops land, the trucks drive off, and they all marry up.
And it turns a deployment that used to take weeks into something that can happen in days.
It really changes how you think about military capability.
Yeah.
We usually count tanks and planes,
Mm-hmm.
but this document makes it clear we should be counting days of supply and articulated joints.
Without the logistics combat element, the most elite fighting force in the world is just a group of stranded tourists waiting for lunch.
That is a sobering thought. It really makes you appreciate the incredible gymnastics required to coordinate a soldier flying at 500 miles an hour meeting a tank floating at 20 knots halfway across the globe.